Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Field Transmissions, a very special episode of Field Transmissions because, as I'm sure you know, and of course we know, it is Giving Tuesday, which is a very, very important day for nonprofits, charities, NGOs like ourselves all across the globe, trying to maximize the amount of support they can get moving into the next year. And so that is, of course, why we are here doing this very special episode of Field Transmissions fueled by Philanthropy. But you're probably wondering, are they just going to sit here and ask for donations? And that is not what we're here for. In fact, we are actually going to talk about what we have achieved so far with the support and generosity that you all, our international community of donors, have given us up to this point. We're just going to go through and essentially give you all a report card of how we've done so far. Before we go on, I should mention that we do have a comment moderator. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comments below, and they will be able to talk you through kind of the answers to your questions and that sort of thing. Additionally, if you do want to make a donation during the stream, please feel free to do so at the link provided below. Now, before we go on any further, I should also mention that we do have a very exciting fundraising opportunity happening right now. So if you've been paying attention to our social media, you know that we have teamed up with a number of awesome merchants and donors this holiday season, one of which is our friends over at Sharpshooter. So Sharpshooter is a home decor and clothing online store, online retailer, which has teamed up with us to make some incredible donations for the end of the year, one of which is happening right now. So we just began the Sharpshooter Power Hour, and Sharpshooter has agreed to match up to $2,500 of any funds donated during this live stream from 2 to about 3 p.m. Eastern Time, or for the next hour, wherever it is that you are tuning in from. So please, if you are planning on giving a donation, or if you were on the fence, right now is a fantastic time to take advantage of this opportunity that Sharpshooter has given us. But I'm sure you are all wondering, who am I joined by today? So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Alex Antram and Cecil Hynds-Riddle. Alex, you want to introduce yourself and start out? I do have some bad news, which is that unfortunately it seems like nobody's able to hear the two of you. So I am going to do a little bit of figuring that out behind the scenes. But while we do that work, I'm going to go ahead and actually play a quick video kind of outlining the things that we've been able to achieve so far. So if you've been paying attention to our social media, you know that we recently did a first-of-its-kind population census of the critically endangered pink land iguana atop Wolf Volcano, and that is what we're going to show here. So enjoy.
Estamos en el volcán Wolf, el punto más alto de las Islas Galápagos. El Parque Nacional Galápagos ha hecho una petición directa a Galapagos Conservancy para realizar una expedición a este volcán. Hasta la fecha hemos podido identificar individuos solamente adultos de iguana rosada. Es por eso que también es importante el conocer más a profundidad la ecología de la iguana rosada para poder emprender en un futuro no muy lejano, ojalá, programas de restauración o de crianza en cautiverio que nos permitan restaurar de una manera mucho más rápida esta especie en el ecosistema de Wolf. La iguana rosada es una especie que carece de pigmento piel y por lo tanto el color que aparentemente es rosado, lo que en realidad estamos viendo es la transparencia hacia su sangre. Somos un equipo aproximadamente de 20 personas. Ha sido una edición, una caminata muy fuerte para llegar hasta donde estamos actualmente, y es por eso que cada uno de los esfuerzos que realizan los compañeros y quienes trabajamos en conservación son justamente para alcanzar los objetivos a largo plazo que queremos para las Islas Galápagos.
I'm the membership manager, and I only started about 4 months ago. I have a background in community organizing and habitat restoration, and I am a nature lover, lifelong. I grew up loving all kinds of herps, so that's reptiles and amphibians. And I grew up fascinated by Galapagos giant tortoises. So I'm really happy to be at Galapagos Conservancy. And I take a community organizing approach to philanthropy. So what that means for me is I believe in bringing people together around a cause that we all care about. And so that's what I keep in mind when I'm talking to donors and our members.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Alex, I know that you enjoyed the second time, but you're going to enjoy the third time even more. So this is your final opportunity to get this one right, because we have figured out the audio. Good news, folks. Thank you so much for your patience.
Great. Well, I am still Alex Antram, here as the Director of Philanthropy at Galapagos Conservancy. I have a pretty diverse background that includes philanthropy, but also conservation outreach in the sense of environmental education, communications, research even. My training is in environmental anthropology and environmental conflict resolution. And I really appreciate this sort of merged approach where we're considering conservation and sustainable development, recognizing that, people are part of the conservation equation. So all of this comes together to sort of inform my approach to philanthropy, where it's a culture of giving, a culture of connecting with people, finding what they're passionate about, and really understanding our programs in Galapagos, perhaps in a way that philanthropists that don't have a conservation background, would struggle a bit more to do. All three of my introductions were entirely different. I hope that one was great for everyone.
What I think is the summation of what both Cecil and Alex just spoke on, and I think that I can probably speak for everybody here at GC, whether we're in the North American office or down in Galapagos itself, is that we are a group of people who care very deeply about the environment, about conservation issues in general, but of course about the Galapagos specifically. We wouldn't be here if that wasn't true. So, even though Alex and Cecil are philanthropy focused in their day-to-day jobs, they are here a part of this team because they, just like us and just like you, the viewers at home, care very deeply about the preservation of our planet and, of course, of Galapagos. So, with that being said, one of the things that we here at Galapagos Conservancy take a lot of pride in is the fact that we are a very well-rated charity, nonprofit organization with a rating system called Charity Navigator. Alex, could you speak a little bit more on just what Charity Navigator is and why we take such pride in our rating with them?
Sure, absolutely. Charity Navigator, it's the largest and most utilized evaluator of nonprofits, and 4-star rating is their highest. They're looking at things like transparency, effectiveness, efficiency, financial efficiency, really seeing how we function as a nonprofit. They have evaluated over 160,000 nonprofits, and they usually re-evaluate them every single year. And happily this year, we received their top rating and actually received 97% in accountability and transparency in where the funding that people like you out there watching, your funding is going where it needs to be going to make the biggest impact in Galapagos. So yeah, Charity Navigator, everyone looks to that really. It's a great way to know that your funding is making a real change, that your investment goes where it needs to go. Just to give you this beautiful quote, the president of Charity Navigator shared with us that attaining a 4-star rating verifies that Galapagos Conservancy exceeds industry standards and outperforms most charities in our area of work. It's an exceptional designation. So again, wonderful that we're not simply performing well as a nonprofit, but specifically in the environmental sphere, we're really, meeting the needs of our donors.
And that, again, is kind of what we're all about here at Galapagos Conservancy. And that's why we're sitting here talking to you today, is because, we don't want to just be an organization that's constantly asking for donations. I mean, of course, as you know, if you do follow us, we do need a lot of financial support because we do a lot and we achieve a lot in Galapagos, and we'll go through that. But ultimately, we want to ensure you at home and those of you who have chosen to donate and might do so in the future, that your money is being put to good use. And so that's why we take such pride in that 4-star rating with Charity Navigator, is because somebody totally external to our organization agrees that we do utilize your financial support in a way that is beneficial to the people, places, wildlife, and ecosystems of Galapagos. And speaking of, one of the things that we are so proud of is the high rate of use of our donations that we put immediately into conservation action. So why don't we just go ahead and start talking about that? As you know, chances are, if you're tuning in right now, we are involved in all sorts of projects, programs, and initiatives down in the Galapagos archipelago. We have all sorts of current, past, and future projects that we work on both individually and with collaborators. And one of our biggest collaborators that we simply cannot move forward without talking is, of course, the Galapagos National Park Directorate. And very recently, we expanded our decades-long partnership with the Galapagos National Park Directorate with an initiative called Iniciativa Galapagos, which expands our current conservation work, especially that from the Galapagos Tortoise Restoration Initiative that has been running successfully for so long, and folded that into this new Iniciativa Galapagos, which is an expansion of the GTRI to include the critically endangered pink land iguana, which we were talking about earlier from that video, the Apuntia cactus and the surrounding habitats that those are so important for, and other native wildlife and plant species. Additionally, it further cements our partnership with GMPD by facilitating, GMPD facilitates our research through the use of boats, remote field bases, laboratories, and other infrastructures, continues our partnership with the park rangers, the Galapagos National Park Directorate, which are so essential to our boots on the ground work that we have going, our expeditions, things like that. And of course, the partnership that they do with research alongside us. So in the future, as part of this Initiative Galapagos expansion, they will be leading joint field research activities with us, investing in visiting researcher and volunteer programs, and providing training and technical guidance to the GMPD in the restoration and management techniques of the target species. So the existing partnership that we have with the Galapagos National Park Directorate has allowed us to achieve so much incredible conservation success down in the archipelago, and Iniciativa Galapagos further cements that partnership moving forward. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm just so excited for this new opportunity that we have to continue to work and collaborate with our biggest partner, which is the Galapagos National Park Directorate. And I'm wondering if the two of you could expand on the importance of these types of collaborations with an organization like the Galapagos National Park Directorate.
Sure, absolutely. So Iniciativa Galapagos builds on 10 years we've had success with the Giant Tortoise Restoration Initiative. And like Aaron mentioned, we're going with the expanding to other critically endangered wildlife and supporting other activities with the park. For those of you that have been fortunate enough to visit Galapagos, perhaps you know that 97% of the archipelago is national park property. We couldn't function as a conservation organization in Galapagos without the deep partnership and commitment we have with the Galapagos National Park Directorate. This collaboration is essential for long-term success, which is absolutely what we were going for in this next stage of our partnership. It's also a way of knowledge sharing and networking, because the Galapagos National Park, it's basically a hub of all of these other researchers, organizations, they all partner with them. So it's a way we can share knowledge between us, basically move conservation action forward in Galapagos together. also another way to engage the local population. Like Aaron mentioned, some of these expeditions take 30 or 40 park rangers to go out and collect data for a week straight. And these are people that we want to have careers in conservation and thrive in that regard. Yeah, do you have anything to add, Cecil?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think just to kind of reiterate and expand on something you said, which is that we really just can't do this alone. I mean, and that is the bottom line. I mean, we work with all kinds of partners, and the Galapagos National Park Directorate is one of our most significant partners. Just because you mentioned they manage this land. And so, it's vitally important to our work that we're constantly seeking out partnerships and collaboration, and that we're making ourselves accessible to be good partners in return. And that is definitely a driving force behind what Galapagos Conservancy believes in and works towards. So we're very happy with our relationship with the Galapagos National Park Directorate, and this expanded initiative is just another step forward and another commitment for us to work together and to collaborate.
Absolutely. I don't think I can add anything more than the two of you have. Our partnership with the Galapagos National Park Directorate is critical. It's crucial for us to continue to achieve what we have. And what's, I think, really special about the way that we operate is that both our conservation manager, Jorge Carrion, and our director of conservation, Washington Wacho Tapia, are both former park directors. So our ties to the GNPD, the Galapagos National Park, and the directorate there are really deep and really effective, and allow us to work very intimately with the population of the national park, both the wildlife and also the community of rangers, the community of researchers, and the community of collaborators, as well as the community of citizens and people of Galapagos. Our partnership with the Galapagos National Park allows us to achieve a lot. And this initiative of Galapagos further cements our ability to continue to do so. So we are absolutely thrilled to be able to continue that partnership moving forward. And speaking of things that we are absolutely thrilled about, chances are, if you at all are interested in the Galapagos or ocean conservation, or if you are worried about climate change and you are in any sphere of this kind of environmental science, natural resources, conservation, ethic discussion, that you have probably heard about the recent expansion of the Galapagos Marine Reserve and the subsequent creation of the Eastern Tropical Pacific Marine Corridor. And I want to make sure that I got that right. The Eastern Tropical Pacific Marine Corridor, which is a massive expanse of protected marine habitat between Galapagos Islands and Costa Rica's Cocos Island. And it was a massive international partnership between leaders from Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and of course Ecuador to create this protected marine zone. And before we go any further, I would like to show a quick video just kind of talking about the significance of this recent expansion. So here we go.
The ocean is our planet's great and the beating heart of biodiversity on Earth. In our race to reverse the climate crisis, it's also our greatest hope. Through stabilization of ecosystems, protection of migratory routes, storage of carbon, preservation of coastal areas, and promotion of sustainable fisheries, marine protected areas like the Galapagos Marine Reserve are one of our best tools to increase climate resilience in both animal populations and human communities. In a historic victory for Galapagos and for global marine conservation, Ecuador expanded the Galapagos Marine Reserve and joined forces with Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia to create the Eastern Tropical Pacific Marine Corridor, one of the largest marine protected areas in the world that will be a sanctuary for migratory wildlife like sharks, whales, rays, and sea turtles. A healthy future for our oceans is a healthy future for us. To the leaders of Ecuador, Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia, congratulations, and thank you for opening a new door to that future.
So as it says in the video, this is a very big deal. Marine reserves like those around Galapagos, the Galapagos Marine Reserve, which was recently expanded, and of course the newly created Eastern Tropical Pacific Marine Corridor are essential to our marine wildlife populations and the habitat that they need moving forward. The Galapagos itself and the surrounding waters are a major hub of biodiversity for a lot of different marine species, both endemic and also transient and migratory. So we have everything from, small reef fish, octopi, things like that, to larger species such as our highly migratory whale sharks, our hammerhead sharks, but of course also our purely endemic and rare species like the Galapagos fur seals or the Galapagos penguin, which is the only penguin found naturally north of the equator. All of these species rely on the protected marine habitats around Galapagos, and the expansion of the GMR, and then of course the creation of the corridor, the protected corridor, further facilitate the protection and future population restorations of these species which are so pressured by human activities and of course by climate change. And I'm wondering if the two of you would be able to kind of verbalize and vocalize why ocean conservation is so significant both on a local scale but also at a global scale.
Cecil, were you going to run with this one?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm really excited about the expansion of the Marine Reserve. I mean, it is really an historic agreement, and it's really important for Galapagos conservation. And so, the oceans are incredibly important for climate change, for the marine life. And we at Galapagos Conservancy we are funding a number of marine projects for next year, including whale shark research, which I'm really excited about. So as Aaron mentioned, Galapagos is a really important place for whale sharks. They migrate through the Galapagos Marine Reserve, and the majority of whale sharks that come through Galapagos are female. And we currently don't really understand fully why that is. And so the research that we are helping to fund is going to investigate that. And that's one of the things I really love about our work is that we look for projects that we can support. We look for people who are doing incredible work, scientists, members of the community who are doing incredible work, and we look for how we can help. And so, this is a time where we are expanding our ocean conservation efforts. We're supporting fur seal and sea lion conservation. We're supporting coral reef restoration. You may not know that there are coral reefs in Galapagos because they were impacted by the El Nino events in the last couple decades. And there used to be 8 species of coral in Punta Estrada, but now there are only 2, as far as I understand it. And so we're supporting that research, shark breeding and migration for a number of species, not just whale sharks. And so, this is a really critical time for ocean conservation in general, and with the expansion of the Marine Reserve and with the support that Galapagos Conservancy is putting towards marine conservation, I think that we're going to really be able to see a lot of scientific breakthroughs just for the understanding of the oceans, but also for conservation purposes and for how we can adapt to climate change and respond to it.
Yeah, and without a doubt, the scientific research that we are and will be involved in moving forward in the marine realm is really exciting. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming your way, and I cannot wait to share that with you. One of the other things that is really important that we are also involved in is there's the scientific aspect of what we do and what we fund, but there is also the enforcement aspect. And going back to that partnership with the Galapagos National Park Directorate, we actually are involved in funding their fleet of patrol boats, which monitor and protect the protected marine habitats around the Galapagos archipelago, because obviously it's incredibly important to write down these sorts of protections and sign your name if you're the president of a country that has a marine resource that you're trying to protect. But at the end of the day, there needs to be someone out there watching the waters and ensuring that illegal activity like illegal industrial fishing is not happening within the borders of that protected maritime area. And luckily enough, again, we do have the dedicated rangers of the Galapagos National Park who are willing to throw on those safety vests, the flotation devices, and get on their patrol boats and go and patrol the waters. And so we are more than happy to help fund the equipment, the gasoline, the repairs of the boats, but also the food, the equipment, the jackets, everything like that, to help support that effort as well, because that is another very critical part of marine conservation as well. So it's really exciting, I think, and really important for us as an organization to kind of play both of those parts, to be able to be involved in the science and the research and the data, but also to be willing to put up to support our partners in the fights to protect this area as well. So it's very exciting to see that type of expansion and creation of the tropical marine corridor as well. Now, of course, we cannot talk about Galapagos without talking about people. And the Galapagos archipelago has a number of sustainability programs that we are involved with the communities of Galapagos. And I know, Alex, this is a topic that means a lot to you, so I'm excited to hear you talk about that. Why is the human aspect, the sustainable society aspect of our work so important?
Sure. At Galapagos Conservancy, we really see humans as part of nature. There's not this separation between culture and ecology. And if we don't have the support, or even more than the support, if we don't have the buy-in really of people on the ground level in conservation, we can't have success. We could have all the endangered species programs we want, but if people aren't getting their basic needs met socioeconomically and in other ways, conservation's not in the forefront of their minds. So that's why we work to develop several different programs that sort of merge conservation education and sustainability practices to sort of infuse a conservation ethic even more so within the residents of Galapagos, from literally pre-K, from 2-3 years old, all the way up through adulthood. So two of our major programs, one of our major programs is Education for Sustainability. And it's been happening for about 5 years. Just recently, we renewed our partnership with the Ecuadorian Education Ministry to continue for another 5 years, this really transformative work that is reaching all students across Galapagos from pre-K through high school. We work to train teachers to rethink their role in student learning. They also come together as a community, and we were helping develop contextualized curriculum, place-based curriculum that can help students that can help teachers in Galapagos, encourage students to find unity amongst each other, to find a sense of place that they're passionate about, that they want to protect, and just really to get students thinking about conservation critically and how to be leaders. Because in this, global conservation crisis that we do find ourselves in, it takes a lot more than me, Cecil, and Aaron, and the rest of the GC staff. It takes all the donors like you. It takes everyone doing what they can, wherever they are. Again, why the Marine Reserve expansion is so incredible. That that helps to mitigate climate change for the entire global ecology. What we do locally impacts globally and vice versa. And we want to hit that on the ecosystem level, wildlife level, and the human dimension level, because face it, I mean, we're here. We have to figure out how to, live best with each other, live best with our changing environment while protecting wildlife. So to go back to education for sustainability, we've had an incredible year, a lot of success with the program having to transition to online learning through the coronavirus pandemic. And despite that, despite sort of that technological divide, there was a lot of success in collaborating between these teachers, building a support system with them, helping each of them to bring conservation concepts into their classrooms. And all of that was recently highlighted in a publication in the Journal of Environmental Education entitled Resilience, Collaboration, and Agency, Galapagos Teachers Confronting the Disruption of COVID-19. I think it's safe to say that there is not another conservation organization in Galapagos that is this committed to empowering up and coming citizen conservationists in Galapagos, right? That's it's so important to get people to think differently about their relationship with the world and apply that in their life, perhaps becoming tour guides, researchers themselves, maybe philanthropy specialists, or just to be more conservation minded in general. And some incredible results came out of our last institute with the teachers. 86% believe that the approach they're taking with sustainability education will contribute to generations of young people who understand, appreciate, and are armed to contribute to a more sustainable Galapagos. I think that is such a powerful statement right there. Also, 78% agree or strongly agree that implementing the contextualized curriculum is helping them grow as educators. So having curriculum that is based around sustainability as a concept and all of its intersections with the economy, with science and civics, with arts and culture, all of that through like a sustainability lens, contextualizes the curriculum in such a way that it's more meaningful, I think, for the teachers to impart the knowledge to students, the knowledge and skills, and also for the students to absorb them. I remember when I was growing up, the most impactful days at school were the ones when we would have field trips or we would talk about sort of nature and outdoor stuff. So I love that program. Did either of you want to add something about education for sustainability before I talk about WISE?
Before we get into WISE, I just wanted to say I am a little bit jealous, frankly, that I didn't get to go through the education program that these kids in Galapagos get to, because speaking with Richard Nab, who is a part of our team here and who is a major part of the Education for Sustainability program, it sounds like, obviously, as Alex was saying, it's very important. It's contextualizing those, your basic education curricula, but through the sustainability lens. But it also seems like a lot of fun. And I think that's what's really cool, is that the kids of Galapagos, and by extension, the educators themselves, get to do these really interesting project-based learning opportunities, this very place-based outdoor education that directly invokes and involves conservation issues that are right outside of their front door. And as you were saying, we've only been doing this for 5 years, and who knows where those kids are going to end up in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we're hoping that they are the conservation leaders of the future, because, again, as you spoke so eloquently about before, humans are a part of the ecosystem, the global ecosystem that we have here. And if we can find a way to better educate folks at a global and a local scale on how to live more sustainably with the environment around them, we can all benefit from that. And so the Education for Sustainability program, I think, is an incredible part of what we do. It's a very big, major piece of emphasis for us, and I hope that you all at home take interest in it as well, because it might not seem as exciting as giant tortoises or pink land iguanas, but it is without a doubt as critical and as important. So we cannot state that enough. But Alex, I don't want to wait too long because I know that this next one is kind of your baby. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the WISE program?
Before that, I want to remind everyone that it's the Sharpshooter Power Hour.
Oh my goodness.
And that our goal is to raise $5,000, in the next 19 minutes. If you guys are watching with us, Sharpshooter is a great corporate partner that we have right now. They're a home decor and apparel shop totally focused on ecosystems and wildlife, and they do a lot of give back programs for conservation orgs. We're thrilled that they chose Galapagos Conservancy for an end of year partnership. And their president is offering up a challenge of trying to get donors to meet $5,000 this hour, up to $2,500. He will match that up to $5,000.
Yeah.
And just if you want to show your background, Aaron.
Yeah. So this is actually pretty fun. I forgot to mention this earlier. This is a custom design that we had made for us here at Galapagos Conservancy. It is, the native Apuncha cactus, of course, a giant tortoise right here. We have two other designs, one of which I believe, Alex, are you not rocking that right now?
Am I wearing it? I don't. Yeah.
Do you want to, the frame a
blue-footed booby on a giant tortoise. Great, some great stuff. They also have removable wallpaper, which is really cute for those of you that are still zooming into work and want to freshen up your backgrounds. So thank you to Sharpshooter. If you gift this hour, you will be supporting their matching pledge. Yeah. But to go back to people and the planet, I want to talk a little bit about one of our new programs, Women in Sustainable Entrepreneurship. This was founded this year through a generous gift through Goldman Sachs Gives. And it basically is a grant and education program that provides direct funding to women with business projects that are sustainability focused or conservation focused, or projects that help to make an existing business more sustainable, more green. We believe at Galapagos Conservancy that investing in women can transform communities, right? In Galapagos, as in many areas of the world, women are traditionally underrepresented in the marketplace, per se, in the business realm. But that is not for a lack of ideas or a lack of interest. It's more so a lack of opportunity. So with this funds, we are really targeting female business leaders that want to make a difference in Galapagos. And the diversity of applications we've gotten is incredible. Just to share with you the first 5 that we've funded this year, we are funding the publication of a book entirely on chemical-free, sustainable, regenerative Galapagos farming, and outreach event surrounding that to get all the people in Galapagos able to bring gardening into their own backyards in a more sustainable way, as well as sort of target the tourist industry there and the people that are the restaurateurs. There's a way to bring everyone together to farm in Galapagos sustainably. So it's great. We're working with Karina Bautista and Huerta Luna Farm on that project. You can read more about it in our upcoming Galapagos post that should be in your mailboxes soon for our members. But the other 4 projects, just very quickly, we are helping to make an established coffee farm more sustainable in terms of fighting invasive species and greening up their technologies. We're investing in one woman's native plant gardens and eventual nursery to actually sell and help other people propagate plants in Galapagos. There's an art project, More Art, Less Trash, where kids and adult leaders go out and collect plastic trash across Galapagos beaches and then repurpose that into artworks that express, a message of conservation along with, beauty. And we also have a bookshop and reading center that we're sponsoring a project within to help encourage a culture of reading, and especially reading centered around sustainability in Galapagos. So keep an eye on our social media for more info on those programs, but it's just, 5 examples of our smaller partnerships that make a really big difference in Galapagos. Of course, the national park, we couldn't do much of anything we do without their collaboration. But being able to touch resident people in Galapagos through these programs as well it's wonderful. Yeah. Do you want to add something, Aaron?
I mean, you so many good things. I just, we ultimately, Galapagos is home to a lot of people, and we want to support those people in making Galapagos more sustainable. We have an opportunity to connect conservation with the people who live in Galapagos. And we rely on people living in Galapagos to tell us what they need to make, to be more sustainable, to be more conservation minded. And we listen to that. And we look for ways to be a good supporting partner for all of Galapagos. So it's really inspiring and really, they're both really incredible programs, WISE and Education for Sustainability, that we're incredibly proud of.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we end this thing off, I think it's important for us to recognize, as Alex was saying, how important our partnerships are. We've already talked at length about the Galapagos National Park Director, but the fact of the matter is that we have a number of important partners and collaborators that we work with every day that we need to achieve what we do achieve. Of course, one of our most critical partners are those of you at home, our generous donors and supporters who have decided to help support our work, who have taken an interest and a passion in what we do and in the protection of the Galapagos archipelago, and we appreciate it and could not do what we do without you. Additionally, we also work with, this fall we have partnered up with some incredible merchants. Hynds-Riddle Expeditions, if you're interested in taking a cruise down to Galapagos in the near future, their first ships down to Galapagos are embarking this January, and if any North American bookings from now until New Year's, 1% of all proceeds will be donated directly to us to support our conservation efforts. They also have a number of sustainability-minded decisions that they have made for the sake of those boats as well, for the sake of Galapagos when they are visiting. Cecil Alex already mentioned Sharpshooter as well, but 100% of proceeds from our online Galapagos store, which I imagine our moderator has put the link into the comments if you're interested in shopping there. You can get some lovely home decor like this, a lovely piece of wardrobe like Alex is wearing, or all sorts of cool stuff will go to support us. 100% of proceeds from now until the end of the year. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Penny the Penguin, which is a book that we have teamed up with the author and publishing, ProLands Publishing, have agreed to donate 50% of all proceeds until New Year's as well off of the purchase of those books. So all of these corporate sponsors that we have teamed up with, these small businesses, not only help us achieve what we do, but also are offering some really, really cool stuff for those of you at home. So definitely, if you're looking for some gifts for people in your life, that's a great place to start, because not only will you be getting some really cool, unique stuff, but also you'll be helping to support our work. Additionally, we also have teamed up with some other really important organizations. Animal Balance Galapagos and Animal Balance in general are working annually to spay and neuter domestic animals on the islands, which helps to keep a healthy population of those domestic animals in the communities in which they live. We also work closely with the University of Vienna on their Darwin's flycatcher work. We have helped support those research and conservation efforts. Then, of course, we have partnered up with other conservation organizations such as the Charles Darwin Foundation with their marine and terrestrial bird and invasive species conservation and research as well. So all sorts of collaborations and partnerships are absolutely essential to what we do. But I'm curious, Cecil, if you could speak a little bit on the importance of these larger corporate sponsors. I mean, Alex has spoken about Goldman Sachs helping us with the WISE program, and of course Sharpshooter, Hynds-Riddle, ProLands, all of these really important partners that we have. Why is it essential that we we utilize those partners as well.
Yeah, I mean, really, our conservation programs are so important, and connecting with corporate sponsors really helps us get more recognition for our work. And also, I mean, it enables us to do a lot more. So, we have really ambitious goals, and so we are looking for partners everywhere we can find them, and corporate partners like Hurtigruten and Sharpshooter really support our work through their financial contributions and through the connections we make through those organizations. And so, individual donors and corporate sponsors are critical to our work to develop the funds that we need to do all of these really exciting programs that we have coming up, especially next year. Mangrove finch restoration, geckos, blue-footed boobies, land snails. Land snails are all the rage at Galapagos Conservancy right now. And so, all of this is in an effort to, it's all part of our scheme, our big plan to save Galapagos and to preserve all of these species. So we really are just looking for bringing in people who care wherever we can find them, connecting with them, and, gaining support so that we can really continue to do this incredible conservation work. So we're really proud of these sponsorships. And if you're interested in partnering with us, please reach out. You can definitely reach out directly to me at member@galapagos.org, and I can share contact with the rest of the team. So we are always looking for corporate partners to work with us. So yeah.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions about what we discussed here, we barely scrape the surface of everything that we are setting to accomplish for ourselves in 2022 in Galapagos. So reach out to member@galapagos.org. And Cecil will steward you.
Yep, you'll get me. That's who answers it.
Yeah, and with that, as Alex and Cecil just said, we are really looking forward to 2022. We are very proud of what we've accomplished this year. Especially considering the given circumstances. We are incredibly thankful for the support of our individual donors all the way to our corporate donors and partners as well. But we are proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and I hope that you all feel the same way about that based on what we've been able to talk about so far today. But Alex is right. We simply cannot talk about everything that we're involved in. And we frankly don't have time to talk about everything that we will be involved in next year, which is why I want you all to tune into Field Transmissions next month so we can get a little sneak peek about what's coming our way in 2022 and just why we need all of your support in this critical fundraising time of 2021. Now, before we finish up and let you all get back to the Giving Tuesday festivities, we did have a couple of questions, so we actually did something a little bit different this time than we did in the past, which is we asked you questions ahead of time on Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram and you would like to, Galapagos Conservancy on Instagram, a lot of cool photos and videos go up there pretty consistently, so definitely check that out. But we have a couple of good questions here that we will go ahead and speak on. One person asked, how can I get involved, and are there any volunteer or work opportunities? Alex, you want to take that one?
Sure, absolutely. In terms of work opportunities, the U.S. office is not hiring right now. Where we can, we try to hire Galapagos residents. And volunteering, I believe Aaron mentioned briefly that part of our expanded partnership with the park is to help to develop and manage a volunteer program as part of Iniciativa Galapagos. Specifically, I believe working with giant tortoises. So that is in the works, probably pretty far off, but I would love eventually to get a robust volunteer base, not simply in Galapagos, but in the US as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we appreciate your interest in working with us. We definitely appreciate that desire to get involved. Our second question, and this kind of, I guess, goes along with the first question, is how can someone make an impact if they can't necessarily make a donation or a large donation?
Mm-hmm. Do you?
I'll take it. Go ahead.
It's a great question. And one we love to answer because we really see everyone as friends of Galapagos. Everyone's a supporter. If you don't have the financial capacity to donate, you can spread the message of saving Galapagos, talk about our conservation programs on social media, share with your friends. If you have a contact at a university or corporation or something that you think, wow, maybe this business would really like to partner with Galapagos Conservancy on something, reach out to us. We have upwards of 13,000 members and a pretty small staff. And it's amazing what we can accomplish together. So spread the word. Yeah, how else can people make an impact without money?
Well, I was going to say that those are all really ways, spread the word, share things on social media and that kind of thing. If you have some favorite sustainable brands, maybe they want to partner with us, give us a shout out. Donations of any size make a significant difference for Galapagos. So if you're like, I can't donate $1,000 and that's all that I think could help, certainly you can make a big impact. If we all come together and we all give a small amount, we can really make a big difference. And so, we are encouraging people to do sustaining memberships and to make a monthly gift. So if you wanted to make a monthly gift of $10 a month, that really does add up. And if lots of folks are doing that, that really adds up. So I know that's not exactly the answer to your question, but it really, we all can contribute what we can contribute. And that is really valuable to us if we all come together.
Absolutely. And it goes without saying, if you do donate right now, you can double your impact immediately because we are still in the Sharpshooter Power Hour as well. So there are all sorts of ways to get involved in our work and help to protect Galapagos. And we would love it if you could get involved and stay involved with us, because again, we need you as much as we've talked about our big corporate donors and our awesome partnerships that we have. It's the individuals who ultimately fuel and fund our work, and we absolutely need your buy-in and your commitment and your passion to continue to achieve these incredible conservation achievements that we have done and will continue to do with your help. Now, our last question, and this one is kind of fun, is what is your favorite Galapagos species? I know there's a bunch to choose from, so let's at least narrow it down to a couple if you have to.
I'll go first. This is my favorite species, no matter what marine ecosystem it's in, but I love green sea turtles. I love them. So very, very excited to be supporting programs that help protect them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alex is well known as a green sea turtle fan. But I feel like this question is like not okay. It's not fair. And I just don't even know how to answer this question. I feel like I would be betraying giant tortoises to not say giant tortoises because I've always loved them. But, every day I learn a little bit more about another Galapagos species, and then that's my new favorite species. So like a couple minutes ago, it was, pink land iguanas, and then it was, land snails. And now I'm really into whale sharks. So it's really, I'm pretty indecisive about my favorite, but always loyal to giant tortoises.
Of course, as you have to be. I think that, as Cecil said, it's hard to pick one. And what's really cool, I think, about our work is that we don't have to. Galapagos Conservancy does not shy away from taking on, all comers in terms of our conservation ethics. So we work with terrestrial and marine birds and wildlife. We work with everything from our small land snails to the whale sharks, the largest fish on the planet. We take a little bit of everything, and I think that's what's really special about our efforts here. I cannot say enough how much we appreciate and need your support, both now in this essential fundraising time of the year, but also moving forward. We have been able to achieve some really incredible successes with your support, with our partners and collaborators, with the Galapagos National Park Directorate and our other organizational partners. But ultimately, as I said before, it comes down to you. So those of you at home who decide to get involved, who decide to share our posts, to learn more about Galapagos and Galapagos Conservancy, and find a way to get involved, because we need you. You know, our planet needs you. The Galapagos Archipelago needs you. And so we appreciate so much your willingness, your passion, your energy to fight with us and to fight for Galapagos. And with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, Alex and Cecil. Thank you both so much for taking time out of what I'm sure is a busy Giving Tuesday for you both, because it is Philanthropy Central all day today. A special thanks goes out to Archipelago Films for the Galapagos Marine Reserve expansion video, and then of course our very own Joshua Valafonseca for most of the pictures in this presentation, as well as the pink land iguana video from the start. Please, if you do have the financial means, consider donating right now. We do have the donation link is in the comments. We'd appreciate any financial support you'd be willing and able to give us at this time. And definitely stay involved on our email lists, our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that kind of thing, to see what we are up to in the end of 2021 and, of course, moving into 2022, because I know that I'm excited to share it with you. I'm sure Alex and Cecil are as well. So we can't wait to keep fighting for Galapagos with you. And please be sure to tune in for next month's Field Transmissions episode, because we will be talking about looking forward to 2022. But for now, this is going to be us signing off. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. Alex and Cecil, again, thank you so much for your time today. This is going to be us signing off from another episode of Field Transmissions. Happy Giving Tuesday, and we'll see you all around. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.